The Dallas Cowboys just made two coaching moves that nobody saw coming, and one of them might be the most important hire Jerry Jones has made in years. But here's what's crazy. Most fans are completely missing why this matters so much right now. Let me take you inside what's really happening in Dallas, because this isn't just about filling positions. This is about salvaging a season that's hanging by a thread, and the clock is ticking louder than you think. Picture this. It's late February 2025. The Cowboys are coming off another playoff disappointment, the kind that leaves fans staring at their TVs in silence, wondering what went wrong again. Mike McCarthy's seat isn't just hot anymore, it's scorching. The entire coaching staff knows changes are coming. They can feel it in every meeting, every practice, every conversation with the front office. And then Jerry Jones does what Jerry Jones does best. He shakes things up. Two new coaches just walked through the doors at the Star in Frisco. But before I tell you who they are and why this could change everything, you need to understand something most people don't talk about. The Cowboys didn't just lose games last season. They lost their identity on both sides of the ball. Think about it. When was the last time you watched a Cowboys game and felt like they had a clear plan? When was the last time the offense looked unstoppable and the defense looked fierce at the same time? Oh wait. That's the problem these new hires are supposed to fix, but can they really do it? That's what we're about to find out. First, let's talk about the offensive side of the ball, because this is where things get really interesting. The Cowboys just brought in a coach who specializes in something Dallas has been missing for years: explosive, creative play calling that keeps defenses guessing. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. When this name first leaked, some fans were confused. This wasn't a big name. This wasn't someone with a Super Bowl ring. But here's what matters. This coach has a track record of taking average offenses and turning them into scoring machines. Look at what happened with his last team. They went from ranking 23rd in points per game to finishing in the top 7, just like that. One season, same players, different system. That's the kind of transformation Dallas desperately needs. But here's the twist nobody's talking about yet. This hire isn't just about X's and O's. It's about fixing the relationship between Dak Prescott and the play caller. Because let's be honest, something broke last season. The trust wasn't there. The rhythm was off. Dak would look to the sideline with frustration written all over his face, and you could see it. The chemistry wasn't working. This new coach, he's known for building those relationships, for sitting down with his quarterback and actually listening, for designing plays that fit the player, not forcing the player to fit the plays. And with Dak's contract situation still hanging over everything, that matters more than most people realize. Think about it like this. Dak Prescott is about to play what could be the most important season of his career. His next contract depends on it. His legacy depends on it. Everything he does on that field next season will be watched, analyzed, and debated by millions. He needs someone in his corner who believes in him and knows how to maximize what he does best. That's what this hire is really about. It's about giving Dak the tools and the support to finally break through when it matters most. Because we've seen what happens when Dak has the right pieces around him. He can be elite. He can carve up defenses. He can make throws that leave you jumping out of your seat. But we've also seen what happens when the system isn't working, when the play calling gets predictable, when the offense goes 3 and out at the worst possible time. That's when the doubters come out. That's when the narrative shifts from, is Dak elite, to, can the Cowboys ever win with him? This coaching hire is designed to end that conversation once and for all. Now, let's shift to the defensive side, because this is where the Cowboys made their second major move, and honestly, this one might be even more important. Defense wins championships. You've heard it a million times, and you know what? It's still true. The Cowboys can score all the points they want, but if they can't stop anybody when the game is on the line, none of it matters. Last season exposed every crack in Dallas's defensive armor. They got gashed by the run, they gave up explosive plays at the worst times, they couldn't get off the field on third down, and in the biggest moments, when they needed a stop more than anything, they couldn't deliver. That's on coaching. That's on preparation. That's on having the right person in the room making adjustments and putting players in position to succeed. So who did the Cowboys bring in to fix this mess? Here's where it gets fascinating. The Cowboys hired someone who spent the last few years studying the game from a different angle, someone who's been analyzing film, breaking down tendencies, learning what makes modern offenses so hard to stop, and now they're bringing all that knowledge to Dallas. This isn't just about hiring another defensive coach. This is about hiring someone who understands where the game is going, not where it's been. Because here's the thing, the NFL is evolving faster than ever. Offenses are getting more creative, more unpredictable. They're using motion and shifts and pre-snap deception to create confusion. If your defensive coaches are still using the same old playbook from 5 years ago, you're already behind. You're already getting beat before the ball is even snapped. Dallas knows this. That's why they went in this direction. But here's the real question everyone should be asking. Why now? Why make these moves in February instead of waiting after the draft or training camp? What's the rush? I'll tell you why. Because Jerry Jones knows something that a lot of fans don't want to admit. This is it. This is the window. The Cowboys are either going to make a serious run next season or they're going to blow it all up and start over. Think about the roster. Dak is 31. Micah Parsons is in his prime, but won't wait around forever. CeeDee Lamb just got paid and needs to prove he's worth every penny. Zach Martin is getting older. The core of this team is right here, right now. There's no waiting. There's no next year. It's now or never. That's why these coaching hires matter so much. They're not just filling vacancies. They're trying to save a championship window that's closing faster than anyone wants to believe. And here's something else most people aren't considering. These hires send a message to the entire locker room. They tell the players that the front office isn't sitting around making excuses. They're not blaming injuries or bad luck or bad calls. They're taking action. They're bringing in new voices, new ideas, new energy. That matters. Players notice that stuff. It changes the vibe in the building. It makes guys believe that maybe this year really will be different. But belief only gets you so far. At some point, these coaches have to actually deliver results. They have to prove they belong. They have to show that all this faith Jerry Jones is putting in them wasn't a mistake. And that's where the pressure comes in. Imagine being one of these coaches. You just got hired by America's team. Every game you coach will be watched by millions. Every decision you make will be second-guessed by fans, media, and probably Jerry Jones himself. One bad call, one bad game plan, and suddenly you're the reason the Cowboys failed again. That's the reality of coaching in Dallas. The spotlight never dims. The expectations never lower. You're either a hero or a scapegoat, and the line is razor thin.
But here's what gives me hope about these hires. Neither of these coaches seems afraid of the moment. They're not coming to Dallas looking for a safe paycheck or a comfortable retirement plan. They're coming because they believe they can make a difference. They're coming because they see the talent on this roster and they want to be part of something special. That's the kind of mentality Dallas needs. That's the kind of confidence that can change a culture. Now let's talk about what this means for the players, because that's where the rubber really meets the road. For Dak Prescott, this is a fresh start. New voices in his ear, new concepts to learn, new opportunities to prove he can elevate his game even further. But it's also pressure. He knows these coaches were brought in specifically to get more out of him. If things don't improve, who gets blamed? The new coaches or the quarterback who's been here all along? For Micah Parsons, this defensive hire could be exactly what he needs. Micah's already a superstar, but imagine if he had a coordinator who could scheme up ways to unleash him even more. Someone who could move him around, create mismatches, put him in positions where he's unblockable. That's the dream scenario. For guys like C.D. Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Jake Ferguson, the offensive hire could mean career years. New schemes often favor playmakers who can adapt quickly. If these guys buy in and learn the system, they could put up numbers that turn heads across the entire league. But here's the flip side. Change is hard. Learning a new system takes time. Building chemistry takes reps. And the Cowboys don't have the luxury of a rebuild. They need this to work immediately. That's a lot to ask. That's a massive gamble. So what happens if it doesn't work? What happens if these coaches struggle out of the gate? What happens if Dallas starts the season slow and fans start panicking? That's when things could get really messy, because Jerry Jones doesn't have infinite patience, no matter what he says. He wants a Super Bowl before he's gone. He wants to prove that his way of running a team can still work. And if these hires don't pan out, he'll make more changes, bigger changes, changes that could reshape the entire franchise. That's the stakes we're talking about here. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's focus on the possibility, the potential. Because if these coaches do what they're capable of, if they bring the innovation and energy that Dallas needs, this could be the beginning of something incredible. Imagine the Cowboys with an offense that consistently puts up 30 points a game. Imagine a defense that gets stops when it matters most. Imagine Dak playing with confidence, Micah wreaking havoc every Sunday, and CD making Pro Bowl catches in clutch moments. That's the vision. That's what Jerry Jones is betting on. And honestly, I think there's a real chance it happens. Because when you look at the bigger picture, these hires make sense. They fit what the Cowboys need. They bring fresh perspectives without blowing up everything that's working. Sometimes change is exactly what a team needs to break through. The Cowboys have been stuck in the same cycle for too long. Good regular season, disappointing playoffs, repeat. These coaching moves are designed to break that cycle, to finally get Dallas over the hump. Will it work? We'll find out soon enough. But here's what I know for sure. The Cowboys aren't just sitting around hoping things get better. They're taking action. They're making moves. They're trying to fix what's broken before it's too late. And for a fan base that's been waiting nearly 2 decades for another Super Bowl, that has to count for something. So keep your eye on Dallas this offseason. Watch how these new coaches integrate with the team. Pay attention to how players respond. Listen to what Dak says about the changes. Notice whether the energy in the building feels different. Because this isn't just another coaching hire. This is the Cowboys betting everything on one more shot at glory. One more chance to prove they're still America's team for a reason. The pieces are in place. The talent is there. Now it's up to these coaches to put it all together. And if they do, next season could be something special, something we've all been waiting for, something that finally makes all these years of disappointment worth it. The Cowboys just made 2 moves that could change everything. Now we wait to see if it actually will.